Namaskar, everyone. Welcome to Sunday. I hope that you are enjoying the human experience. I hope that you are enjoying living in a beautiful animal body. I hope that you can appreciate that you are the light, like the Christ said. You are the light in this body. You're a divine light. You're a spark of a divine fire. You're not mortal. You are immortal. Your soul has lived before and will live after this body drops away. There's no death for you. There's no aging for you unless you think you are old. You know, there is a saying, as you think, so you become. So you have the power to create whatever thought you want, that you can manifest that in the human experience. What a marvelous human experience. You know, in the Shiva Sutras, these verses, these sutras, short verse, there's a beautiful saying, Nartakatma, that your soul is like a dancer on the stage. You are in a play. You have been given the consciousness of the dancer, the ego. In the yoga, we call the ego an instrument, not the self. Antakarana, ahankar, the I maker. Do you understand what that means? That your consciousness, this infinite consciousness that is manifesting in you, has the power to create an I, has a power to create a temporary self, an apparent self, a phantom self. But can you create that self? And can you observe it? Can you observe your selfish nature? Can you observe when you identify with the primal body, lust, greed, territorial? And can you recognize self-righteousness when you think that you are so more holier than the other? Do you recognize that? Where you put down others so that you can look superior. Do you observe that? Do you observe how we cater to animal tendencies in the body? We cannot blame the body for being an animal. That's the play. So we need more consciousness, and the value of more consciousness is that we can see the ego, because the real transformation is not in the habit. It's in the ego, the one who is creating the habit. The real transformation is not just in the thought, but how the ego thinks. Ego consciousness. So the goal is to stay in the consciousness of your ego nature, the ahankar within you. That's the goal. That's the goal. And to hold the awareness that I am not a doer. But the real magic happens when you feel and experience who the real doer is. That's when the magic happens. When you realize that I sing but I'm not singing, I walk but I'm not walking. Because Kundalini is doing the walk. Kundalini is doing the singing. Kundalini is doing the giving. then how can the ego rear its ugly head to think that it is the doer? That's the real sadhana. It is the constant awareness of ego. That's a real discipline. You think discipline is the way you eat and the way you meditate and the way you do things. That's not a discipline. Discipline is looking at the one who is doing it. The discipline is continuous ego awareness. That's a discipline. And the striving is to connect with that divine power within you that is greater than your ego. You look across the world today and you see how many people have inflated egos. They think that they are God-chosen people. Such ignorance. We become only the chosen when we open our hearts to see God in each other and to treat each other as we treat ourselves. Christ gave 2 commandments, which I absolutely love. With all of your being, you should love God. Your whole mind, your whole soul, all your energies. Love the divine. Not the ego, the divine. So that's the greatest commandment. To create that powerful relationship with the divine within you. To love God with your whole mind, your whole soul, your whole heart. And then he said, I give you another commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Why? Because that's how you test it. If you can truly love your neighbor as you love yourself, then you're truly loving God. But we think that we love God so much, but we treat our neighbor selfishly. No, the acid test or the litmus test is how we treat the world, how we treat each other. And it begins at home. When we go outside, we are polishing our ways, but at home, no. It begins at home. It begins with the near and dear ones. If you really have it, then it happens at home, and it happens everywhere. Everywhere you are, you're selfless. But is it possible that you can be an instrument and don't give your power away? Doesn't mean that you have to give in to everybody mindlessly. No, you be watchful. The divine will guide you as to how to move away, how to act, how to share, how to operate. The divine must lead you, not your mind. I love being strong when I need to. When strength is needed, I stand up for what is true, what is right. But I am soft when it's necessary. Just manifesting the divine in my softness and the divine in my strength. Not me. It is the divine that guides my softness, and it is the divine that guides my strength. So I feel ultimately powerful in that connection with the divine, that I can stand up for what is right, and I can be soft when it's necessary. That's fearlessness. It can only happen in the divine. Try to do this with your ego, righteous ego, it doesn't happen. You'll create all kind of waves in the space that you don't like when you think that you are in the divine and you operate with the ego. And subtle selfishness is there. No. When you're operating in the divine, there is flow. You know exactly how to be tough and when to be soft. So that freedom is required. My prayer and wish is that you will understand the secret of sadhana. And don't think the more you meditate, then the more you're doing sadhana. No. The more you observe the ego, the more you can detach from the ego and not be caught and driven by it. And the more you come into that connection with the divine. That's where my fearlessness is. It's in the divine. The Christ said it, I do nothing of my own will, but the will of the divine. And he said it in the beautiful prayer, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And we did it in the affirmation this morning. I pray to be aligned to divine will. So the secret to sadhana is observing the ego. Can you spend your day today observing the ego? And even when you have the habit of having a nice ego, make sure it's not caught in self-righteousness, in superiority consciousness, in selfish consciousness, that you are the best. Mindfulness, awareness, and be an instrument. Be mindful, be aware, and be an instrument of the divine. We are not a doer. We are simply the instruments of the divine. Nartakatma. Let's be that beautiful player that flows with the divine in the play, having the perfect dance in the divine. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone. Namaskar.